This is a massive preview today, so hopefully you guys can watch right to the end because there's a lot to unpack. I have to break down the threat from Bournemouth, plus MARESCA's very insightful and revealing presser. So I hope you guys enjoy things today because tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m, we have a big test against Bournemouth. They're high flying right now, and since a 2-1 defeat against Brighton on the 23rd of November, they're unbeaten in nearly 2 months of football. That's 8 games unbeaten, and they've got big wins against United, Spurs, and Ipswich Town. Bournemouth have been known to be giant killers this season, picking up some massive wins against Arsenal, Man City, United, Spurs. Only us and Liverpool are the only big clubs to not suffer against them. But what exactly makes Bournemouth such a dangerous team this season? I think it comes down to this thing and this thing only. You can argue they are the fittest team in the Premier League, the fittest team by a mile, the most direct team, and the most intense team. And the numbers and the stats, they back this up. They rank the highest for kilometers run. They rank the highest for turnovers in the opposition's half. Shot creating turnovers, sprints, plus many athletic measures. They've gained 2.44 points when scoring first. They know how to maintain their advantage due to their incredible stamina levels over 90 minutes. But on top of that, what's mad is that they've only led games 25% of the season. What's even madder is that they have a 58% equalizing rate. And on top of that, when they do lead games, their leading defending rate is 69%, which means that once they have that goal lead, there's nearly a 70% chance that the result will go in favour to Bournemouth. And a lot of this comes down to the mental resilience and the fitness levels and the fact that Iraola has a well-drilled and coached Bournemouth team blessed with some very impressive players. And I think for this point on, my friends, there's 3 players I think we have to watch out for tomorrow. The first player is Dean Howson. Now I might be jumping the gun, but I feel like I'm seeing a defender that may be one of the leading defenders of his generation. I think the kid is that good, and I first heard about him after he got loaned to Roma last season. He's come to the Premier League as a 19-year-old and already he's shown incredible physical resilience. He ranks in the 88th percentile for headers won and aerial duels, which says a lot for a guy that is still a teenager. But what makes him an incredibly special talent is how blessed he is with the ball at his feet. He's a modern-day centre-back. He can carry the ball, he'll confidently stride into midfields, carrying the ball forwards, kick-starting attacks. But most importantly, that distribution over distances, boy, that has been a massive weapon for Bournemouth. And we need to have a plan against Howson because he connects Bournemouth's left flank. He's finding the overlaps of Milos Kerkez. He's releasing the left winger. We need to try and maintain and limit that directness down that side, and I think we need to have a tactical game plan, try to reduce Howson's threat. The next player to watch out for is in-form Dango Utara. As we know, Bournemouth have lost Unal and Evan Nielsen, but one player that's really been shining recently has been Utara. 4 goals, 3 assists in his last 7 appearances. He's had some big contributions, an assist against Man United, 2 goals yesterday in the FA Cup, and he really benefits because he's a very versatile player, able to play up front and all down the left flank, very direct, very pacey, and he's been an incredible weapon off the bench for Bournemouth throughout this entire season. And I mentioned we have to watch out for him because in our last few games now, as we tire, we're losing control and undoing all our hard work and hard efforts. Teams are coming with their plan Bs near the end to try and catch out a more fatigued Chelsea team, and Otara is someone that will be raring to go against tired legs and try to stretch us. And for the final player, it has to be Milos Kerkez. Now this season is one of the top performing fullbacks in the league. Bournemouth have one of the best left sides on form this season currently, and Kerkez is proving why many clubs like us, Liverpool, and a host of other ones are looking to make something happen in the next few windows. Engine for days, able to bomb up and down that field, can also underlap. He has a more tactical variety to his game, very good cross of the ball as well, and shows a lot of quality, the timing of his runs. So yeah, these are 3 players tomorrow who all come down that left side. We have to have a plan for tomorrow. We got a massive test against a team in great form currently. I feel like there were positives to take from our performance against Palace at least, even though the result was not good. For me, if we can disrupt their high energy direct football, that can give us a chance. Do we turn towards using more press resistant players to help play through their lines? Potentially. On paper, Bournemouth, one of the best pressers this season, I don't see them changing their game and sitting up using deeper blocks. So on paper, there's an opportunity for us to showcase what we can do, where we were the best team in the league at one point at kickstarting sequences from build-up play deep. So we need to see big mental resilience against a very resilient Bournemouth team tomorrow. And today, my friends, I'm going to be going through all things preview. So if you guys feel like we'll finally get a win after what's been nearly a month now, hit that like button. Good vibes only. Let's try and get over 2K likes. Hope you enjoy, and let's get straight into things. In terms of team news, of course, the same injured players are still injured, but MARESCA revealed that both Reece James and Gusto are now available for match contention. So if I had to guess, I'd imagine that either Reece or Gusto will start a half at a time. We also learned that Noni is back from illness, so he's in contention tomorrow too, and that's essentially the team news out the way. And I have to get through that because there was a lot to unpack in the press conference this morning. And this takes us forward to MARESCA's thoughts on Renato Veiga, because it was literally in his last presser that MARESCA revealed that Vega was part of his plans. So you must have been a bit shocked and surprised to learn that Vega sees things differently and already wants out. Now, MARESCA, in very typical Koi fashion, said that he doesn't know anything about an agreement with Dortmund for Vega. And when questioned about Vega's willingness to want to play as a centre-back, MARESCA said, listen, when he arrived from Basel, he's come here, he's played in different positions, he's played well, hence why he's got those opportunities with the national team. Even if it's not his position, he's still got called up. We're proud to have players that can play in 4-5 positions. He also used players like Reece James, Cucurella and Gusto as examples of players that can fulfill playing in many different roles, and revealed that in the modern day game today, players need to be able to play in different positions, of course, if they want to fulfill their potential. If you only play one position, you might struggle. And that's fair, but I see it from both sides. From the coach's side, listen, he wants to have these multi-purpose tools in his squad. Vega is that multi-purpose tool that can play and fulfill many different roles. But from the player's side, he'll be thinking, well, I'm getting minutes against very lower opposition. I'm not really being tested in the league at all. And even when there were opportunities for me to play as that inverted fullback, you didn't turn towards me. And what I think really changes things is essentially Dortmund showing interest. If this is Wolves, I don't think Renato Vega is biting the bullet, but because it's Dortmund, because this is like a big opportunity for a young player like this who wants to get more consistent, regular minutes, with the fact that Dortmund have, really clear plan for him, and that could really benefit him in the long term. His distribution out from the back, aerial prowess, whatever, at least there's more focus, consideration and game time that he can get at Dortmund. So let's see what happens. MARESCA said he'll be part of things tomorrow. Is he going to start? I'd be very surprised. And this then led us forward into MARESCA's thoughts on our attack, more specifically on his use of our fullbacks. Now, fans will be feeling a bit aggrieved that we're seeing a lack of minutes given to Joao Felix, Christo and Nkunku. They're not part of his plans. Yesterday, MARESCA revealed that when you have Cole Palmer in the team, sadly, he can't afford to accommodate Felix and Nkunku alongside him. But the question starts with, could we see Palmer returning to playing out wide again? Which is a fair question, but the MARESCA said, well, if you do something like that, it implies that you need to have an overlapping fullback outside of him, right? But essentially, when you have the overlapping fullback, Palmer moves inside, which is the same position he's already playing in. And he said he prefers to see Palmer inside. And you know what? I have to say I agree. And I think I have to remind everyone how Palmer ended last season, where he predominantly played inside. And when he did that, we saw an incredible upturn in goals and assists and attacking metrics, because that is Palmer's star position. He's maintaining that same quality this season. I get it, it's the fan perspective. If things aren't going right for a little bit, you want to see something new. You tell yourself, Felix and Nkunku, can they not offer something new? Give them an opportunity, I get it. But equally, you're changing up quite a lot of things to make that happen. And what is necessarily the upside from the manager's perspective? I can understand that. MARESCA said that he tested Gusto as the overlap with Cole Palmer against Man City. Maybe he didn't like what he saw. in that game. But when asked whether we could see Reece James or Gustos or co overlapping again, MARESCA, it seemed, kind of shut down that idea because he doesn't really seem to be a fan of having the overlapping fullback who runs up and down the field. There's a lot of that reason down to the fact that we've seen Reece and Gusto regularly break down playing this high intense role over the last few seasons. I think that plays a part, right? But I feel like I have to give some grace to the manager. But I have to also explain the frustration that I can see from the fan base as well. And that comes down to the use of inverted fullbacks, because my main takeaway is this: we only have one guy that's mastered, that can play that role down to a T, and that is Cucurella. One of the players that a lot of people have been in praise of this season. And when he plays the inverted role, is he just playing as like a second DM? No, he isn't. Look at the positions, the fluid positions he takes up. He's in the pocket sometimes. He's the underlap runner between defenses. He's the overlap outside for Jadon Sancho, the left winger. He tucks into midfield to stop the counterattacks. This is someone that has mastered playing the inverted fullback role, because when you master that role, this is the fluidity that you can offer in terms of the overloads at any time in any situation. The issue we have is that he's the only one that's mastered that. On paper, Reece James can do that, but he's not been fit enough to really assess. Outside of that, no one else can do that. And I was saying this point during the summer, but I feel like we might be facing an issue when we don't necessarily have the inverted quality needed for right now to be able to really do full justice to MARESCA's ideas. Ignoring the right flank, which has struggled a little bit in our recent run, the left flank hasn't really struggled based on Cucurella's supportive role alongside the left winger. That can be recreated down the right hand side. That can only come with some time, and hopefully with players maintaining their fitness and with both Gusto and Reece James mastering how to play that role. And to end things, we discuss MARESCA's thoughts on Nicholas Jackson, who hasn't scored in nearly a month of football. Attention is turning towards Nico, so I have to say I like the comments MARESCA had to say, and it provided a lot of levity. He said that we don't just value Nico exclusively on the goals he scores, and that's fair because Nico is a very good presser, one of the best pressing strikers leading the line. He runs the channels, he brings people into the game like your Palmers and co. He's got some great threat running in the transition. He does a lot of team stuff, and for myself, when I've seen this fan base praise a Timo Werner for doing, a fraction of anything that Nico's shown, yet he was getting praise and patience and Nico doesn't. I don't like it. I really don't like it. Listen, Nico's not world class. We know that. Yes, we need to get another striker. I think that's quite clear, and that could actually help Nico as he develops. But I like that MARESCA had to back his guy. Probably makes sense because he's the only striker, but he said, listen, he scored 14, 15 non-penalty goals. He's got like 9, 10 non-penalty goals this season. Yeah, that's pretty good numbers for most strikers, especially for someone his age. So he believes that Nico will come back. And I think when you're someone like Nicholas Jackson, who, let's keep it real, he was never going to maintain the scoring streak in every single game. But let's not be dumb. There was going to be moments like that, and it's nice that your manager still has faith in you, and hopefully he can break that deadlock in goal very soon. So my friends, we now take things forward to the predicted lineup, and I'm going to be going for a few risks with this lineup. I'll let you guys know in advance. I'll probably get things a bit wrong. I might be going against my principles a little bit too, because I do feel like against strong runners like Bournemouth, maybe you need to have some other strong runners against them. But the reason why I'm taking a risk is that I do think with certain player form right now, sometimes it's good to give those opportunities. Maybe it's a fan and be coming out. But anyway, here's the lineup I've gone for. Up front, Nicholas Jackson, and behind him, Felix on the left, Palmer in the middle, Sancho on the right hand side. In midfield, Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez. And in defense, Cucurella, Korbel, Achimpong, Reece James, and Robert Sanchez in goal. Now, I'm taking a risk because I think ideally the manager might be using Neto and Madueke because listen, you got like those pacey fullbacks that Bournemouth have. Having guys that can match them and pin them back, that's going to be key. But equally, I'm seeing Jadon Sancho is loving his football right now. The footwork, the dribbles is consistent, it's dangerous, something's happening here. And I thought he looked very exciting, even though it was the FA Cup game. That's the type of performance he can take forward now into the league. And same thing for Joao Felix. Listen, in the few starts he's got, he had a good account for himself against Southampton and Leicester City. He scored some great goals. And I also liked how he kind of benefited from Cucurella down that side in the second half. I think with that type of form he has, it'll be interesting, of course, to turn towards Felix on the left-hand side tomorrow. And it's a moment for Felix now to like really force himself into MARESCA's plans consistently, yeah? Because MARESCA has given a few moments, and you know, Felix has been decent, but there's always more. And at least the goals he scored in the FA Cup, like quality goals, they're the type of goals I've been wanting to see him translate in the league. With Neto being a little bit inconsistent, even though he's a hard runner, and with Noni just coming back from illness, you could probably afford to use either one of these guys off the bench tomorrow, which provides an opportunity for Sancho on the right and Felix on the left, with Palmer and Nico doing their thing. Midfield speaks for itself, not much to add there, but the defense is a little bit of a risk. Now, Achimpong wasn't used, which gives us the impression that he'll be playing against Bournemouth today. And I think MARESCA realizes I need some pace, and Achimpong possesses that. And when you have that pace, it means you can use a back four. And for my second risk, I think we could be seeing another back four system tomorrow. And I'm hoping we're going to see this thing that I think I've been saying for a while, and a lot of you guys from the comments I've been reading have also envisioned, but having a back four where fullbacks take it in turn to invert. I think that's will be the future of this team, to be honest with you, especially against teams that you need to dominate against and you know, create those overloads when they're parking the bus and defending. I think I can see Cucurella's mastered that, and he knows when to invert and when to fall back up. Reece James, who I'm guessing will be starting and playing one half at least before Gusto comes on, he could offer that as well. And it does give us an opportunity at times to create that makeshift back three to help with our build-up. You know, I know that MARESCA, his end game system and tactics is going to make us that fluid in all different phases, from possession, defending, attacking. I think we need like a few more additions, but I think the squad has to be fully in his image. I think now's probably the time to test this out now. So that's my predicted lineup. I'm probably wrong with this, but you guys share your thoughts and opinions and leave yours below too. And we end things with my match prediction, and I'm contradicting myself, but maybe I'm still feeling the pain of my incorrect predictions over the last few previews. But long story short, I'm going for a 2-2 draw. I feel like on paper, we can beat Bournemouth. It's the mentality. It's about how do we control things. We're a team that can be a little bit naive still at times. It's definitely improved a lot, but there's still a lot more work that has to be done. Can we slow the game down when we have to? Can we control and keep the ball when we have to? Can we stop always just wanting to play forward to try and create another goal? Temperament, you know, composure, these little mental things. That's the next stage in this team's evolution, in my opinion. And I think Bournemouth, who are in great form, they're going to give us a hard game tomorrow. And they're a team that's getting goals. Now, listen, theoretically, I think we can win. But in reality, I think this might be a 2-2 draw. So that's the preview today, my friends. Share your thoughts and opinions. And stay tuned for more videos on Blue Lions TV. I got you guys covered this month. Catch you then. Cool.